Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Glad you can make it here today on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend, answering our community's questions. If you're new to the show, welcome. We're happy to have you. Every single weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, we take a break from the typical daily show, which is one topic on wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, really everything in between from an integrative health, a holistic functional medicine perspective. And then on the weekends, what we do is we take a little break from that and we actually answer our community's questions. So maybe you've asked them before inside of CabralSupportGroup.com. You've spoken with a health coach, whatever it might be. I'm not here to overrule any of that great advice. What I want to do is just simply give you another opinion, a different way to look at it. And if you've really been getting the same answers over and over, I'm telling you, it's probably the right place to get started, right? We all know that in the long run, we have the best plan in the world built for us. We'll probably have to make, though, little tweaks along the way, and that's okay. So what I want is just to simply share with you that I'm happy to answer these questions. I'd love to do it. We have updated the Ask Cabral page, so it just lets people know it takes about 6 weeks now to answer your question just because of all the questions that have come in, but also on that Ask Cabral page, we have lots of easy ways to get your question answered much faster. So without further ado, let's answer your questions. That is why we are here. We've got a really great array typically of questions every weekend, all sorts of items and health-based issues, and I never know them ahead of time. I just want you to know I just opened the document. So what I do is I like to look at it the first time, your questions with a fresh set of eyes. It is not supposed to be comprehensive. It is supposed to be, this is where you should get started. If you haven't already done that, here's another route, and let me give you some different recommendations, okay? So that's what we do. Again, just like as if we just met in person, you ask me a quick question, this would be my answer. All right, first question's from Maria. If you want to follow along with the questions, my team is amazing, and I'm sure they already have them up at stephencabral.com/2157. That is today's show. Maria says, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to answer our community's questions. I'm a Vata body type, 29-year-old woman, currently working on healing my adrenal fatigue. I have elevated levels of cortisol in the PM and low cortisol in the AM. Unfortunately, I don't do very well with adrenal soothe due to histamines. I've tried it several times, but it just doesn't agree with me. Any other alternatives that you may recommend? I can't take adrenal soothe in the morning because I already suffer from anxiety or adrenal support. Funny given that my AM cortisol is low. Sleep is good. I track it with my Oura ring and take magnesium, DNS, omega-3, daily probiotic support, and vitamin D every day. Okay, great question. I totally know where you're coming from. We don't get a lot of adverse reactions to the adrenal soothe because it's not like a super herbal product, but I totally get it. I understand. What I would say is this, that there are certain products inside of the adrenal soothe that you would still want. So maybe you don't do well with ashwagandha because maybe you don't do well with herbs. Totally understand. What you may want to do instead is use a little bit more magnesium in the evening. That might be better for you. You might want to use straight L-theanine, or you may want to combine the L-theanine with 100 milligrams or so of phosphatidylserine to lower cortisol levels at night. So one of my favorites is I take magnesium at night. I take 2 full spectrum magnesium. I typically do that after dinner. And then I take 1 dropper of the liquid melatonin. That knocks my cortisol down. I sleep great. I've got great sleep numbers. I show it all the time on Instagram. Not that I'm bragging or anything, just by that saying that, listen, I used to be a complete insomniac my entire life until about 26, 27 years old. And now I'm not a complete insomniac anymore. I can actually fall asleep instead of taking 2 to 3 hours to fall asleep. And I get good sleep. So it looks like you're on the right track. What I would love to do is not push your body in the morning morning, I would like to just kind of get you easing into the day because, again, your morning cortisol levels will come up once you get better, more restorative sleep. So I wouldn't worry as much about the mornings yet. Get a good smoothie in your body. It's very easy to digest for a Vata. Make sure there's enough protein for the Vata so it doesn't kind of get digested too quickly. And then at night, that's what I would take care of. Get to bed earlier, binaural beats, blue blocking glasses, maybe some meditation, and turn off, those bright lights, blue light. And then take your good sleep help supplements at night to lower that stress so you get more restorative sleep. If you get more restorative sleep, you should then get that rebound in the morning. All right, great question. Oh, looks like Maria's up again. It says, sorry, me again. I forgot to mention that I decided to take a break from heavy lifting and just stick to 10,000 steps every day and work out 3 times a week with the resistance bands only. My BMI is 21. My body fat's 15%. I was doing a lot of sauna, but I read that it may not be best right now, as it can be a stressor to my body. What are your thoughts? My workouts are not as intense, so I don't really sweat. Sauna is the only option I have. After running the hormones test with your team, all of my hormones are also on the lower side, including estrogen, so I don't want to push my body too hard. All right, Maria, again, we work with many Marias in our practice. I hope that you've worked with our team by now, and because you ran your what looks like adrenal hormone test or your stress hormones, mood and metabolism test. And really what we need to do is a period of rebuilding your body, right? So you're right. We don't want to break down your body. I agree though. I mean, walking the 10,000 steps and 3 times a week with just resistance bands or body weight is fantastic. So I don't know if you're a part of IHP as well, but you've got a good knowledge base, which is great. So here's the thing. Let's talk about sauna. That was your question. You can still do sauna. Anybody can do sauna. You can only do it to the point where your body actually starts to become more stressed. So think of it this way. Remember, you build up tolerance to all of these things. So I don't think that you've listened to maybe a lot of the Cabral Concept podcast just because of the questions you're asking. They've definitely been answered before, but again, I'm happy to answer these, of course. So go back and check out my podcast on hermetic stressors. If you ever can't find a podcast, ask Michelle inside of the CabralSupportGroup.com. CabralSupportGroup.com, free Facebook group. Come on over, join. It's a private group, 14,000 people from around the world, amazing individuals. It is no advertising. It's just a great group of good people. And there's we don't allow outside advertising in there. So yeah, it's just us trying to help people. And Michelle is an amazing moderator of that group, and she'll find you the podcast that you're looking for. So with all that saying, you can do a sauna. You can control the temperature. It doesn't have to be as hot, so you can stay in there longer. Like an infrared sauna would probably be better for you. And because it's going to be somewhere between like 120 and 140 degrees, not 160, 180, 200 degrees. And then you can also wear a heart rate monitor in there. And once your heart rate starts to really get above like 100, let's say, okay, well, now your body's getting into a little bit more stress state, then you might hop out. So you might start at 10 minutes week 1 and then move up to, and you might do that twice a week, and then you might move up to 12 minutes week 2 and just kind of gradually work your way up. That's a nice way of doing it. All right, Jen is up next. Do you think that drinking pomegranate juice has more benefits or downsides? I know drinking any juice without the fiber of the fruit will spike blood sugar, but I also know pomegranate is great for antioxidants. Would you recommend drinking this maybe in small amounts? All right, so pomegranate juice, blueberry juice, cranberry juice, there's amazing benefits to these, but yes, you're right. I don't recommend sitting down to an 8-ounce glass of juice on an empty stomach. But let's qualify that. I did a podcast on... Again, this is another good one to ask Michelle on, or you can search. You can search all these podcasts at stevencabral.com/podcasts. And this was, I think it was titled Carbohydrates Do Not Cause Diabetes. And, it wasn't meant to be a controversial show, but I actually show that, processed food, but we're not talking about, again, you're talking about fruit, we're talking about, vegetables. Juice is processed fruit. So, that's a little bit of a caveat there. However, I shared with you actual science showing that people who added like blueberry juice, not only do they not get that big spike in blood sugar, it actually helped lower blood sugar. So it's very interesting. What I'd recommend is this. I recommend... So let me step back for a second. Pomegranate juice, very high in antioxidants. It is amazing. It's not one of those that are higher glycemic. What I would do though, is I would simply add like 2 ounces to your daily smoothie in the morning. So you're getting it with your protein, your fiber, It's going to slow some of that digestion, and you get the nice antioxidants with it. It will also last longer. So if you just kind of pop in 2 ounces there, again, you can always do your own testing for blood sugar, et cetera, but I think you'll probably be pretty safe with that. Just keep in mind, you can throw pomegranates in your shake as well, right? So you can get all the fiber in that shake too with the pomegranates if you'd like to. I'll just let you be the decision maker on that one. All right, Darren is up next. Hey, Dr. Cabral, wishing you and your family and Equal Life team all the best in the new year. By the time you get this, it's likely to be finished. But the question is for future reference. I got the Equal Life Activated B Complex, Activated Multivitamin, and DNS recently. I looked at the daily value percentages, is wondering if it was possible to take 1 capsule instead of 2 for the suggested B complex, and instead of 4 capsules suggested for the daily Activated Multivitamin. 2 instead of 4. I'm trying to stay healthy and do what's right while keeping budget. What do you think? If it's actually have to do the suggested. Also, with regard to DNS, is there any reason why it has 2 grams added sugar in the ingredients? Is it for any particular reason or merely for taste? Okay. All right, great question. So let me break this down. I have a full podcast on when to take your supplements, what and when to take your supplements, plus my daily routine. You can find that at stephencabral.com/podcast. You can just type in my daily supplement routine. It should pop in there. But again, if you can't find a podcast, ask the amazing Michelle inside of CabralSupportGroup.com. Okay, so, let's look at it this way. You never have to take the daily activated multi and the daily nutritional support at the same time. Because when we made the daily nutritional support shake, it is a full activated multivitamin plus extra electrolytes, plus extra detox factors, plus 15 grams of plant-based protein. So it is a full activated multi in itself. So don't worry about that. Now, it also has a full activated B complex in it, in the DNS. So, and the daily activated multi. So unless you've been told to take more B complex by your practitioner because of low B vitamin levels, because of stress, et cetera, then you may not even need the B complex. So the daily nutritional support is meant to be that. It's kind of the safeguard to make sure you get all of your multivitamins and minerals in for the day. So that's what I recommend. That's what like 80% more than that, 90% of the people in our practice use. So that's where I'd start. Okay, but we'll put it this way. 2 scoops of the daily nutritional support for breakfast. It's also one of the least expensive breakfasts you can have, right? It's what, $2 or so, right? That's it, $2 per serving. That's your breakfast. Add some frozen fruit to it. That's maybe $1 more. I think it's very difficult to find a breakfast for less than $3. Okay, you now have a breakfast that's $3. Water, your berries, add some greens if you want, your daily nutritional support, you're on the go. I mean, it's perfect. So $3, I think, is in budget for most people. But again, I can't speak for everyone, of course. I understand, but it's a pretty good price for breakfast. And then the B complex, you can absolutely do just 1 at lunch, and that will last you then 2 months instead of 1 month. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. Christine is up next. Are infrared sauna and proteolytic enzymes taken on an empty stomach safe when you have breast implants? Thank you for the wonderful information provided in your podcast. Okay, great question. Infrared sauna, well, it may not be, okay? So a far infrared, there's near, there's mid, and there's far infrared. The most popular type of infrared sauna is far infrared sauna, which means it penetrates about 3 to 5 millimeters under the skin. That may or may not affect breast implants. So may or may not, right? I can't give you that definitive. There's probably some research on that. But what I can tell you is this: high heat will affect plastics, and plastic inside of the body, if there is any plastics with a breast implant, I know they're made from different types, could be affected as well. So I would be careful of long saunas. I would be careful of high heat in sauna. Okay. The second one about proteolytic enzymes, I don't have a good answer for you on that. It's meant to eat up proteins such as pathogenic cancer cells. Again, I'm not giving medical advice, treatment plans for cancer. I'm not saying that at all. It helps eat up bacteria in the body. Will it go after breast implants if it sees that as foreign in the body? It's a great question. I also don't have data on that, so I apologize. So I can't give you an answer on that, and I always tell you when I can't give you an exact answer. So I wish I could be more helpful on both of those, but at least hopefully to a degree I've pointed you in the right direction. All right, Christina is up next, and she looks like she's up last today. Number 6, we do 6 questions per day. So when I exercise or do a physical activity requiring more oxygen, I have to yawn to bring in more oxygen that I need. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not getting enough oxygen. Is this normal? Thank you for all your help and advice. Okay, great question. It is common, but not necessarily normal, meaning it does not a good sign of balance. So there's 2 things. One, you could be fatigued, right? You might not actually have the core energy. By that, I mean like constitutional energy. Like you might have lower reserves in your body. It's not allowing you to push yourself to the same degree. It can be lower amounts of mitochondria, low cortisol output, low epinephrine output, low dopamine output. Your body's just not getting as much into fight or flight like it should. So there is that part. I would definitely run the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test at the very least. I would also love you to run the minerals and metals test. So I guess if you could do just a couple, I would do the starter kit, because you save $100 there. And that includes the minerals and metals test, and it looks at your mitochondria. And then I would do the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism to look at your thyroid and to look at your cortisol levels. So that's what I would do for sure. Okay, so now what else could it be though? Well, it actually could be that you're not actually getting enough oxygen, and that could be a cell membrane issue for sure. So too many omega-6s, not enough omega-3s. There's also the omega-6, omega-3 test. Now, while you're at it, you might as well run the big 5, because we're just talking about 4 out of the 5. The last one is food sensitivities, right? Which can create inflammation. So, I mean, here's the thing. Whenever it's a mystery, like we can't pinpoint, oh, this is exactly what it is, it's always best to run the big 5 if possible. If not, we just go down to the starter kit, which is much more affordable. So that's this first step. We take it. But here's what I would do though, is you could, besides running the labs, I have 3 podcasts, one from James Nestor, one with Patrick McEwen, and the other with Brian McKenzie. And those are at stephencabral.com/podcast. You can search those 3 names, or you can actually go on the right-hand column at cabralsupportgroup.com/podcast and click on Conversations with Cabral, and you'll be able to scroll through and actually see those. Those are all breath experts. They will teach you about nasal breathing. They'll teach you about different things that you can do with mult taping in order to be able to improve oxygen utilization. I would definitely recommend that. And if I could just recommend like 1 out of the 3 to go with, they're all great. They're all experts, but I would go with Brian McKenzie's, since he's a practitioner of it, where the other 2 are brilliant research people on it. Patrick McEwen is a practitioner as well. So anyway, they're all great, and definitely check them out. And I know that between lab testing, breath work, you'll be able to put all this together. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to be back tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And believe it or not, it is already that time of the year. And just to make sure that you make this your absolute best year yet for overall wellness, body transformation, and anti-aging, I need to make sure that you are aware that once a year, this time of year, every year, we offer $500 off the Big 5. That means you are getting already a discount of $600 if you were to purchase all of the labs separately every single day at Equalife. So we take $600 off. Now, what we're going to do at this time of the year is offer another $500 off. This is the absolute best savings you will see anywhere for the Big 5 labs, to look at your food sensitivities, to look at your heavy metals, to look at your mitochondrial energy, to look at your gut health in terms of bacteria, yeast, to look at your omega-3 and inflammation levels, and so much more. It's going to show your vitamin levels, your mineral levels. I cannot recommend them enough. I really can't. I used to run them once a year. I now run the Big 5 twice a year. I feel it to be that important. You want to make sure that you are not filling up that rain barrel. You want to make sure that you are not on the cusp of moving towards dis-ease. Your job is to make sure that your body is balanced at all times. The Big Five is going to show you the underlying root causes of so many health imbalances. I want to make sure that, again, like I said, this is your absolute best year ever for wellness, for body transformation, and for anti-aging. And the best way to do that is by saving over $1,000, an extra $500 right now this week while supplies last. We have just about 100 Big Fives that we are doing at this $500 off. And of course, each one of them come with a 90-minute health coaching consultation with our team to explain the results and also design a program built just for you. This is why we can't offer 1,000 of these, because we're actually giving 90-minute consultations with each one. There is no better deal out there right now, and there is absolutely nothing better in terms of personalized wellness than the Big Five. You can find it right now at StephenCabral.com/Big Five. That's just BIG and the number 5. StephenCabral.com/Big Five. I hope you take advantage of this. Have your best year yet.